Okada, somebody that I actually do like, but you don't. So who's coming into your office?
Okay, well now we can switch the good cop, bad cop routine
This is
here.
kind of like, do you watch The Office, Okada? This is kind of when Dwight Schrute and
Uh-huh.
Jim were both like co-managers, you know? Yeah, I
Correct.
feel like this is what it is. Like whoever's Dwight, whoever's Jim, it doesn't matter, but this is what that feels like.
Okay, well let me put on my Dwight hat here. Bears beats bad wide receiver value. Garrett Wilson is going as the wide receiver 16 in the 3rd round. And I'll start it off. You know what? Let's start positive, okay? Because then we can just go downhill from there and it'll feel way better. I get the reasoning. You know how earlier we talked about DeAndre Swift? I didn't get the reasoning. I get the reasoning with Garrett Wilson. He has been a target monster, and there is very little else on this team to take targets from him. 3rd in targets over the last 3 years in the entire NFL. Not on the Jets, not in the AFC East, not in the AFC. In the entire NFL, 3rd in targets. And I get that. That's where the good ends. Let's start going downhill. Over that 3-season span when he was 3rd in targets, Laquan, so his volume is better than everybody in the league except for 2 guys. 13th in fantasy points, 30th in touchdowns. Okay? The man does not score, and the man's fantasy points have been obviously heavily inflated by this volume. Let me just ask you a simple question, okay? And we'll get to the rest, and I'll let you respond in full. But let me just answer me this simple question. Is he going to see the volume that he's seen over the last 3 years with Justin Fields at the quarterback position, Laquan? No. There is 0 chance. So that volume that has carried his production is going to come down. He squeaked into wide receiver 1 range last year with Aaron Rodgers on 154 targets. That is not happening again. And I like Justin Fields, and Aaron Rodgers was not great last year, but still, that was a future Hall of Fame pass first quarterback with crazy volume. That is not what we're getting out of Justin Fields. And I will finish with this, and then you can rebut. Okay. If you look at the lines, the betting lines for season totals, you can go on to Underdog, in fact, and do this. And I strongly suggest you do. Go look around at the players that you're interested in or that you have question marks about. Go to the Underdog NFL season tab and look at the pick'ems for their stats. Okay. Let me give you some examples, Laquan. Cortland Sutton. These are his lines for the season. 899.5 yards, 6.5 receiving touchdowns. He's going as a wide receiver 27 at the 4-5 turn. Jalen Waddle, 949.5 yards, 5.5 touchdowns. Wide receiver 29 in the 5th round. Jawan Jennings, your boy.
Yes, sir.
924.5 yards, 5.5 receiving touchdowns, going as a wide receiver 34 at the 5-6 turn. Now you say, Okada, what is Garrett Wilson? I'll tell you, Laquan, 949.5 yards, 4.5 touchdowns. So that is in the ballpark of yardage as all those other guys and fewer touchdowns. That is the betting line, the expectation betting line for these receivers. But he's going as the wide receiver 16 in the 3rd round. The math does not add up. It makes absolutely no sense. The fantasy community is way over-indexed on Garrett Wilson because of what he's done on volume. But the smart people know he is not hitting those numbers, or he's hitting around the numbers that the betting lines are set at, and is going to be a major disappointment. I am a gazillion miles out. I will not have a single shred of Garrett Wilson this year in fantasy.
That is a huge red flag. I do like him. I do like him because it's the same case that we make for Lad. You believe in the talent. And I believe there were some ups and downs these recent years, even though he had the volume with the quarterback play. Believe it or not, I think this is an upgrade at the quarterback position. Not a sense of saying that Justin Fields is a better passer than Aaron Rodgers, but I think Justin Fields is a more of a threat, a more dangerous threat at the quarterback position for this Jets offense of what this new identity is going to be. So where you hit at on the touchdowns, I think there's going to be way more scoring opportunities for this Jets offense than they've had in the last 4 or 5 seasons. So looking at the opportunity to hit on more touchdowns, may not have the yards, he might not hit that line, but he may be ballpark of that line. But if I can get Garrett Wilson with 1,100 yards, but 7 touchdowns, I'm willing to pay that wide receiver 16 price just based on he's going in the 3rd round. He essentially would be my wide receiver 2. I think this is where he should have been adjusted the previous years with bad quarterback play with, that type of value in return as a wide receiver 2 instead of us putting him in that 1st round how we did in previous seasons. So I think the price adjustment, it could be a little bit lower because, again, you're matching the Vegas odds. You're matching the Vegas numbers. And the math ain't mathing because you're damn right. Because when you hear Jawan Jennings, wide receiver 31, 30-something, and then you see similar numbers, if not less than or more, at wide receiver 16, that does bring me a little back like, oof, something ain't right. Something smells a little fishy. But I'm just going based off of the talent that I'm willing to roll the dice on Mr. Garrett Wilson this season because I'm hoping for more touchdowns. That's always been the problem with him is touchdowns. And that goes to the quarterback play. It goes to scoring opportunities, getting down to the red zone, striking distance. You can't do that with a Zach Wilson. I mean, it was up and down with Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers brought his homie in like, hey, man, I need you here, bro. I need to get something done, But the volume's there. The talent is there. That's 2 major boxes checked off that hopefully you can get that return, but don't treat him as a wide receiver 1.
I want to ask a quick question to Quan, because when you were talking about this, it made me think, and I'm curious how you would weigh in on this.
Yeah.
Do you believe Devontae Smith is a talented wide receiver?
Yes.
Do you believe he's in a similar tier of talent to Garrett Wilson or not?
Ooh. Similar tier of talent. I want to say yes. I want to say yes because I believe Devontae Smith could be a 1 on another team. He's just situationally a 2 to AJ Brown, so he's a great compliment. But I do think he could be a 1 on a team and have that same opportunity as Garrett Wilson from a talent standpoint. Yes.
So this is exactly what I'm interested in my point. I love that you put it that way. Devontae Smith, I think, could be a 1 on a team because I do believe he's in the same talent tier as Garrett Wilson. However, he shouldn't be. Do you know what I mean? He should not be a 1 on a team because it's not as good for him and it's not as good for the team. He is far better suited as the best 2 or one of the best 2s than he is as the 1. I think Garrett Wilson is the same guy, and I think we've all tricked ourselves into believing he should be a 1 because he's been the only one for the Jets, except for that stretch with Devontae Adams, obviously, which, by the way, I think was a much better situation for Garrett Wilson to be in. He's similarly undersized as Devontae Smith. I don't think he's going to hit that touchdown upside, the 10-plus touchdown upside, because I just don't think he's that kind of guy. I think he's Devontae Smith, and I think we've all tricked ourselves into thinking he's a wide receiver 1. I think he should be a 2. And maybe this is crazy. Maybe I'm, losing my mind here.
Is this an Ohio State thing?
Yeah. Well,
because I'm thinking
Smith's going as a wide receiver 26. I don't know.
That's a steal. I'm looking at it like this because along with Garrett Wilson, Ohio State alum, Chris Olave fits that bag as well. He's treated as a 1. He's always pushed up in ADP, except for this year because of the concussions and not availability and everything else. But then we look at JSN with a similar ADP as Ladd McConkey in that 2nd round, also Ohio State guy. I don't know. Maybe these guys are just strong 2s that complement a actual 1. And I think Garrett Wilson falls right into that bucket. Like, I think people need to wake up. Okada, you might have been like the oracle here. Just wake up and look at what we're actually getting. And, man, I might agree with you, man. I might agree with you. I think his ADP is a little inflated. You got this off. This was a Dwight Schrute, a great ADP review here, a performance review that you just nailed, my brother. I mean, geez, you got to get the mustard yellow shirt, man. That would have been perfect.
Oh,
I got the Jim white and the black. Oh, we got to run this ADP review back.
Okay, we'll run it back.
Get the mustard. You got to get the mustard shirt, man. If you're going to be Dwight, killing it
and
like
the glasses.
this. In the glasses.